And welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the thanks button. And welcome everybody to another show. See how long before Steve shows up. If you're watching this on replay, um, we hit it over and over. There's Steve. I knew somebody was coming soon. And Todd. Sorry, Todd. Steve beat you again. But you guys are unbelievable. So we'll let the room fill up a little bit. Hopefully, a big night after a big win on everything. So we just see real men drive tractors, and I do have a tractor. So it's a small tractor. Anyway, if you're wondering why I'm wearing it. Okay, here we go. Start popping. All right. So, all right, I'll start with the news today, which really wasn't any in particular. Dan Quinn talked to us today. No update on Brandon Coleman until Wednesday, but suddenly that becomes a big injury. He had a concussion last week. A lot of times they only miss one, but you never know with concussions. Everybody's different. And then because then Cornelius Lucas played instead against the Bears, and he got hurt. And we won't know about that injury till Wednesday. Won't know about Coleman till at least Wednesday. So we'll see. They desperately need a left tackle there, and Trent Scott didn't play very well on it. And that's really it. Talked a little bit about, Jaden Daniels is sore on Monday. Well, yeah, everybody's sore on Monday. I mean, he got blasted a couple of times. I know his ribs must have hurt, but the dude's a gamer. So, as Alex just said, he won the Hemi Award, whatever that is, on there. And I forgot to turn on the Yankees game too. All right, hold on. So, I don't know what you guys are watching tonight. Dude, I watch baseball more than football because I see enough football as it is on there. And let's see. Got one of these TVs you have to click like 15 times to make anything work. But I want to see rather see the Yanks Dodgers game than anything. I forgot to put it on so that way I can have it on while we're doing this. Sorry about that. Let's see. But I can hit the sound off. Okay, so it's on Fox 5. Yeah, fascinating stuff, man. Okay, here we go. That way I can have one eye on that. All right, so Steve's a Dodgers fan too, I guess, right? Steve, do you think Peters will make any trades for the trade deadline, which is November 5th? Gee, if only there was nothing else going on that day. Seriously? You guys have a trade deadline on the NFL, on the presidential election day? Okay, they'd have to trade Jane Daniels to get any attention out of that. That's just crazy. It's the same day. They moved it a week later because 17 game schedule, which really midway. Todd, of course, he's screaming in the apartment, huh? Okay, yeah. I mean, listen, when that touchdown happened and they won the game, honestly, I thought FedEx might fall down. Well, Northwest Stadium might fall down. Whew, that was like a bomb of a noise went off. And I would say it was probably the most exciting play ever in that stadium's 27 years. I mean, I've missed only a handful of games. I don't remember anything when I missed that was good. Hasn't been a lot of good stuff. But, the Robert Griffin long touchdown run, but that was earlier in the game. This won a game. This was the first walk-off touchdown throw to end the game for a victory for Washington. Well, let's just say Elias went back to 1970 and found no instances of it. So if it happened before 1970, it doesn't count. I don't know. So that's the amazing part of that. It was a 13-second play, which is never, I was saying about 10 seconds, I was thinking, throw the ball. And my first thought when I saw where the ball was going was it's short of the goal line. It was about the 3. And then they tipped it backwards. So, made the end zone. So so many things happen there, including, one of the Bear defenders getting a real karma punch in the butt for talking trash to the fans and then going over and being part of the tip. So, in a way, if the defenders had got it, they were supposed to knock it down. So why the defender tipped the ball up, I don't know. And then, there's Noah Brown just going, "Hey, thanks," and it's a touchdown. Oof. That was an amazing play. One of the great highlights I'll always remember on that. We'll always talk about that play, you know. Um, so I'm not surprised everybody was running around. Matter of fact, it was funny that the Quinn said today, or yeah, I guess last night, he says, I felt like Jim Valvano. You remember that 1983 NCAA championship Valvano won, and he's running around the court looking for somebody to hug. And I saw the video of Quinn afterwards. Yeah, he was kind of just running around the field, not knowing what to do. And he said the big guys all like crushed him. you know, he says, now I know, these guys are big. I've had players just messing around and chicken wing me or something. They're big, strong guys. So Quinn found that out too. That was pretty funny. Steve had been this excited since '91 when he beat Dallas in the title game. Is it '91? Yeah, that was 91. It wasn't Dallas, it's Detroit. Marcus, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. I was right about Jaden. Yep. Thanks for that. Blind man could see Jaden was going to be good. I watched a little bit of him in college, but I was really watching film more. So, and I'm glad to see it worked out for him. I mean, listen, I think last night was supposed to be the big showdown of the top two quarterbacks, and it was in a way. And after watching that, which quarterback would I take? I'd take JD over Caleb anytime. Caleb had a lot of bad throws, made some nice throws. I tell you, the best throw he made was down my end of the stadium, not the one that mattered down the other end, but my end of the stadium. He threw that pass to the 3-yard line because he started to run and then looked and saw a slant lane completely open and hit the guy. It was a really nice play. I thought Caleb made a couple of decent plays there at the end. He was awful in the first half. And he looked rattled at times. He holds on the ball too long. I'm not saying he won't be a good quarterback, but JD is a mile ahead of him at this point. Underrated play was McNichols covering the fumble punt return. Yep, that was a good one, Alex. Bob, who's been around the press box quite a bit too, never saw it explode like that. Yeah, the press box did go ooh too. I mean, it was just one of those shocking things. And usually you're not supposed to react in the press box, but life changes sometimes and people do. Todd, did you see or hear that Mariota should be put in for the last play? I heard about that some announcer, was it Romo was talking about. I didn't get to hear the game because I'm at the game, but Romo was saying he should put Mariota for the last throw. That's stupid. Listen, he hasn't played the whole game. He's talking about a cold arm, throw the ball 60-some yards. Well, because Jaden Daniels can't do it? Well, he already had a 61-yarder earlier in the game. So while he wasn't his best game, no way I put a guy in for one throw like that. No. What I also don't do is give a ball to an offensive lineman at the goal line. What were the Bears thinking of that? That's not refrigerator, Perry. That was stupid. Yeah, I often say coaches lose games as much as they win them. There you go. I think Cincinnati's coaches lost the game against Washington because they didn't know how to attack Washington correctly. And then here, that was a stupid play by the Bears, and it cost them the game too. So not that Washington didn't play well in both, but sometimes coaches make dumb mistakes. Let's see, Gregory, how many Bears fans showed up? Well, I'd say it was about 15% Bears and 60-some thousand people there. So that would make a little under 10,000 Bears fans. That seems too many. But really, you could see them, but wow, is there 10,000 of them? I don't know. So it might have been about 90,000 fans. Oh, now here we go. I'm watching the Yanks game, and we've got another guy who's going to like sing on the infield, like Ice Cube did. Ice Cube did a great job game too. I don't know who this dude is. I'm too old for this, but really, we got to have singers out there on the infield before a game. Sing the anthem and let's go. Which, by the way, the team brought out the big flag again. I hope that's now the mainstay. And T.D. Washington sang the national anthem. If you haven't heard him before, he's the best anthem singer I've ever heard. And I've been listening to anthems, well, all my life, but especially at ball games for 46 years. And some of you are already alluding, this is my last year. I don't want to talk about it yet. Let's put it that way. I don't want a long goodbye or any of that kind of stuff. So, and you never know when things will change and maybe something does change. So we'll see. I'll talk about it in December. I was at the game, Mojo. I go to every Loud game, home game. Was that the loudest reaction? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, because the crowd was pretty into it the whole night. It was a good rock'em sock'em game, and Washington had no business being behind at the end. That's what happens when you kick enough field goals. Basically it's called you F around and find out what happens. You dominate the game, you get 4 field goals, and suddenly they make one play, and then they make another play, and they're ahead. That's the worst thing that happens to you when you dominate and don't get a touchdown. And they almost blew it, but they got it. Is that more iconic than Riggins' Super Bowl run against Larry S? No, because two different things. So this is a regular season game. Riggo's was the Super Bowl. And to me, the Riggo play in the Super Bowl where he sheds off Don McNeil and runs in for a touchdown pretty much assures that game now. Was the most important single play in probably the franchise history. I mean, I can't talk about Sammy Ball in the 30s, 40s, but that set up the success of 3 Super Bowls over 9 years. I think that was iconic, but that also wasn't in Washington either. It was at the Super Bowl. Marcus, Noah Brown represents the Big Ten. Ohio State made plays. Hey, I didn't think that Noah Brown would be as big a contributor as he is. I was wrong. The dude, he doesn't catch a lot of balls, and hey, that's one ball out of anything. But he's been a steady number 2. Certainly an upgrade over Dotson. Supernova, let's go Bears were very loud throughout the game. Really? I didn't so much hear that. Oh, it's a guy called Fat Joe. I've heard of that. I've called people fat. That's not nice. Yeah. Gregory, after last night's Bears, can Caleb have fun? Well, I don't have fun in Chicago. Listen, he's a DC kid, so I wish him well because I always wish I'm all DC. Things. I'm a native, and I wish Washington people success, but he can have it elsewhere. Joel, okay, has a question. What's prediction next 10 games? Zorn was 6-2 and 2-6. Yeah, when Zorn was 6-2, I thought, my God, have they stumbled onto some kind of idiot savant? How is this happening? And then it all went away. So, and Norv one time was 7-1. They finished 9-7. So, I mean, I've seen this before, but I think this team is playing much harder than those 2 teams did. I think they have better overall talent. You got a better quarterback. What do I say about quarterbacks? They always give you a puncher's chance, and that happened again yesterday. You got one play, he made that throw. I've seen a few Hail Marys over the years, but not so much to win games, but and not here, but I've seen it. So what's my prediction of the next 10 games? I was kind of looking at it. They got 9 games left now. So out of these next 9, I think it could go like 7-2. So I figure a split of Eagles game. You lose one, you're not quite sure about. Pittsburgh. Could be Pittsburgh. That's a tough week. Pittsburgh and then Philly on Thursday. They come out of that week not 0-2. That's a great thing. So if I think they can win 7 more games, that means it's a 13-5 team. I don't know if I want to say 13-5. No, 13-4. Yeah, but I can't count anymore. But I think it could be an 11-win team, something like that overall. Marcus, I agree with you there. Williams, he can run. Marcus made some football icons. I don't know what icons mean. Well, there's a football there, so I know what that means. Somebody's smiling. I guess I know what that means. And I guess he's waving to me. So, okay. All right. There you go. I decoded it. Okay. Jamaican bobsledders here tonight. Have to fix the redone woes if we want to beat the good teams. Well, true. I wouldn't have let McCaffrey throw. No. Alex, I've never seen Terry as fired up as last night. Yeah, he told that one guy, you all could lip read where he said, you ain't, something. Yeah, that was out of character for Terry. He's a very classy guy. But hey, what goes on down there, you want to punch somebody in the groin. I don't blame him. Not that he did that, but and things get so intense down there, you're willing to just do what you can do to somebody. Suzanne, yeah, the Cowboys lost too, pretty good. So I only caught a little bit of that. I didn't get home till near 11 last night, so I didn't get to see much of that. Love the the 2 World Series games, man, they were both good. I just wish on the East Coast here, wish they were a little earlier. Let's see, RG3's Vikings game. Wow, Greg, I tell you the truth, I've covered. I was trying to figure out how many Redskins, Commanders games I've covered, either actually there or covered them off the TV. It's probably somewhere around 600. I'm not really sure. So they melt together, to be honest, on all that. So I don't remember it. Mojo's here. Why does the national media pretend like we don't have history before Dan bought the team? Because I don't know, they're a bunch of jerks. I mean, did you hear Sims last night going, gee, there were 2 holds on that throw? Seriously, they haven't called a hold all night. And now you're going to talk about that? And that's what I actually looked up. I get NBC quotes every Sunday night of the things they cover. They never talk about the Commanders. Here they finally talk about the Commanders, and Sims goes, yeah, they got lucky it wasn't a holding call. Bite me. Another family haters. I mean, Phil Sims got the better of Gibbs, but the son doesn't. Why is the national? Okay, so I got that. Bob, there will be no goodbye for many years, and when it happens, we'll leave together. Well, you better have your bags packed. Let's see. I may do next season. I don't know for sure. I give up. I honestly give up trying to figure out what's going to happen to me next. I'll just say this: God takes me where I need to go. May not be where I want to go, but it always works out for the best. And maybe God's telling me you did enough sports writing. I need you over here because I am doing some other things. But we'll see. I'm trying to just enjoy these next couple months and enjoy for what it is. Hickory Hound Quinn has been a steady above average coach in Atlanta. I mean, it wasn't awful in Atlanta. It's just that last year he went 0-5 and that got him whacked. But he had 3 good years on there. All right, Daryl, the head coach definitely set the tone of the team. I mean, I like Quinn a lot, Daryl. I think he's an honest guy, which a lot of in the NFL, they don't consider lying a sin. They're all going to end up in hell for it. But, whatever. They don't believe in lying's a sin. So, but he's not a liar. And he doesn't always tell you things. And, hey, that's the way to do it, in my opinion. Don't say anything. That's like when they tell you when you're interviewed by the cops, it's against the law. A lot of the cops' interrogations, it's best to say nothing. They don't have personal experience with that. I'm just telling you. Terry Bradshaw didn't like Washington either, Joel. Oh, come on. I like Terry. Don't be a hater, Terry. Marcus. Chris Sims, yeah. I was thinking it was Phil Sims last night. I'm just old man disease when that happens. Alex, what do you think of trying to hand Lyman the ball goal line? I thought it was really stupid, and it cost them the game. So try and get smart with stuff, and look what happens. Ooh, I see Otani's going to be hitting, huh? Okay. That was weird how he jammed his shoulder, sliding in second the other night. Alex, what do you think? Okay, I got that. So Gregory, do you expect Quinn to turn this around this fast? No, not at all. I mean, I thought they could be 3-3 or 4-2 after 6, and now we're at 8 games. I was thinking more like 5-3 would be the upside most. The biggest surprise to me, they won in Cincinnati on Monday night. That surprised me. I thought a lot of these games are 50-50 games. The 2 losses, legit losses. They played Tampa Bay today. They beat Tampa Bay. So sometimes the schedule, it's when you play people, on there. 8-17 already. Okay. Todd, have you heard the Spanish call? I saw Bram Weinstein's call today, which was great. I mean, because that's what kind of shock it was. I mean, you were just like, okay, they're getting ready to lose. They won. I mean, it was just wow. I mean, it was one of those lightning bolt moments. So, and that's what announcers are paid to do, is be able to hit those notes, when you do it. I love Bram. We've been old friends for, 20 some years. So Bram's the funniest guy when he's just out and about. Bram's hysterical. I knew him when he was just little and had long hair. sort of. I remember when I had hair. I don't think Bram remembers me having hair. Marcus, what is the linebacker name from the Panthers? Hawaiian Samoan. Hold on. I keep my depth chart every game. And the end of the season, I keep the last one on my clipboard. So whenever I have to look at things, I can just pick them up really quick. Let's see. Linebacker. Oh, Amen. And I can't say the last name. It's got about 6 syllables. Agbang Beng Iga. I'm as I've gotten older, it's really harder for me to do these long, long names. I can learn to spell them, but I can't learn to say them. But anyway, guy's name is Amen. All right, cool name. Mojo, George Allen, the future is now. I mean, yeah, look at Allen. He came on. They had a losing team, and Allen went to the playoffs 7 times. And then he overspent his unlimited budget, as Edward Bennett Williams used to say. He was the boss of the Redskins at the time. He was kind of like a minority owner, and George Preston Marshall had died. Cook hadn't taken command yet, so George Preston Marshall, one of the fascinating people of this franchise, used to say Allen, outspent his unlimited budget. So that's why he fired him. And then Allen went to the Rams and didn't last there very long either. I didn't get to cover George Allen personally. I was a kid watching him. I missed him by 5 years. That's how long I've been around. Only missed him by 5 years. Joel, probably Washington and Philadelphia fight for first place. I would agree. Those 2 games could be a difference. If one of them takes both games, they win the division. If they split, it's hard to say then. But you can't be swept. And the Philly games, man, are always the weird games. And here we are on a Thursday night, which is weird for that first game. Always weird games. The weirdest plays of the season, unexpected wins, that kind of stuff. It's always the Eagles games. They're so hard to predict. I don't know why. More so than the Giants and Cowboys games. Alan, need a Josh Harris fan appreciation day. Well, if that's every home game when you spend all that money, he does pretty well. But no, he's done a great job. You can see where Dan Snider so failed this franchise in so many ways, including that Harris had to spend like $150 million on the stadium in a little over a year because Snider just seemed to not pay for anything anymore. And they were desperate to get so many little things and some big things fixed. So, if I told people, this is karma coming back. Dan Snider is gone. All that evil stuff that was going on is gone. And, it's free for karma to smile on this team again. It was a Hail Mary full of grace kind of thing. And if Snider was here, no way this happens. No way in hell this happens. Number one, he would have given everything over to get to Caleb Williams. He just would have read about it in the paper and said, ooh, he sounds great. Let's go get him. And so that would have been a mistake right there. And it would have crippled the team on draft picks. So that's number one. Two, he wouldn't have picked Quinn. I don't know who he would have picked, but he would have picked somebody else. So no way this happens with Dan. But now that Dan's gone, we're free to let the good times roll again in Washington. I know all of you are happy about that. Somebody was telling me the other day that when Snider said he was leaving, whatever, they picked up 15,000 season ticket holders. The season ticket list was way, way, way below what you think it is at that time. I'm still not sure what it is at this point because they don't have to tell us. I would guess it's probably near 40,000 now or so. And then people buy single game tickets. Personally, I would always buy single game tickets. You just don't have to care where you're sitting. You change your seats every game, but a lot cheaper. Marcus, Frankie Louvu, thank you. Hey, Frankie Louvu, I saw a clip of him on the field. He's an intense dude, okay? I don't want to pick a fight with Frankie Louvu. But he was like even kind of smiling as he yelled. It was kind of creepy, but there's a dude, he's the man you want next to you in the trench. And he was even happy. So there you go. Brian, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Mojo, Adam Peters seems to find diamonds in the rough. Well, he's found some guys that have really helped. It's been a good draft. Samerstill is really coming on as a nice player. Johnny Newton made a big play. God, he devoured Caleb one play. But he's doing well. And Fenarium Mathis is doing well too. This line's really picking it up. But Peters found a lot of free agents that are really helping. He got Ertz, he got Eckler. He picked up why can't I remember the name? He picked up Noah Brown. I'm sorry, Noah Brown. I don't know why I can't sometimes remember Noah Brown's name, but I guess I will after this. But Noah Brown, he picked up a lot of these guys, so it's worked out well. But I think next year's draft, I think they go corner. Emmanuel Forbes played 6 snaps yesterday. I, you know, I don't see him. I don't see him lasting the season with them. When they get caught in a roster crunch again, I think he's gone. And yeah, it's only 2 years in, but they're just going to eat it. Suzanne, George Allen's daughter wrote a book about her dad. Yeah, I remember that, Fifth Quarter. And it was good. And there was another one just put out by Mike Richmond last season. It's a 500-page book on George Allen. I mean, I didn't read it all, but I read a bit of it. It's a lot of good nuggets in that too. Let's see, Marcus, 150 mil is a lot of renovations in a year. Well, it's like 16 months, so a little more than a year. Bob, according to Eberflus, whatever that is, they practiced the handoff to the lineman hundreds of times in practice and had total confidence. Yeah, I read that quote too from him after the game, and I just thought, well, it's a shame, a shame for that guy, not a shame for Washington, but it wasn't even close. You can practice stuff all you want, but live fire, totally different thing. I guess he choked. Joel, the tickets behind home plate are $17,500 for this game. $17,500. Whoa, there goes a home run. So by the Dodgers. Is that Freddie Freeman? Yeah. Freddie Freeman, man. Freddie Freeman. There, 2-run homer. Look at that. There you go. Freddie Freeman put a stake through New York's heart. I thought New York could maybe win 2 of 3, and maybe they will in New York. Go back to L.A. There you go. Freddie Freeman hit one out. I like Freddie Freeman. Seems like a cool dude. Not like some of the Houston players. I used to hate looking at those guys in the World Series. Like one guy with a nasty beard and all that. Let's see. How far do you think we can realistically go this year, Mojo? I think probably I could see him winning a playoff game. I'm not sure. When he gets to the Final Four of the conference, we'll see. I mean, there's so much time left before that, and teams go up and down so much. But I think they have the potential, maybe fall just short of the NFC Championship game. If they were to get there against Detroit, I covered that game in '91. And cold, nasty, wet day a rainy day at RFK Stadium, just like it had been the week before against Atlanta. And they just used the Hogs in the ground game to crunch both teams and go to the Super Bowl and then beat Buffalo. That was a great game. I do remember that one out of a 600. Okay. Daryl, we're seeing some chatter that James should sit out and rest up against New York. Nah. I mean, he doesn't want to, and he seems to be able to tolerate it. He probably can't get any more injured per se. I mean, he could break a rib, but it's not one of those injuries that you worry about worsening. You just have to be tough enough to put up with it. And ribs hurt, and I've had it. I didn't break mine, but I hurt mine. And I give Jaden a lot of credit, man, especially these big guys trying to, like Montez Sweat, trying to knock you out. Alan, at midseason, which free agents do you think we bring back? I haven't even begun to think about that, Alan. I kind of stay in the moment, worry about who they're playing this week. I usually can tell you who they're playing this week and next week. I'm not even beginning to think about next year. I live in the moment. So sorry. We'll get to that. Marcus read Belichick's biography. I haven't read that. No, it's by Ian Connor. Okay. Ian Connor's a good writer. O'Connor, I'm sorry. But I haven't read it. Hickory Hound. Adam Peters is the best acquisition we've had. I mean, this dude may be the next Beathard. So far I can't really criticize a lot. I wouldn't have spent so much on Sam Hartman as an undrafted free agent, because they ended up cutting him. That money's gone, and then they re-signed him because nobody else went after him for the practice squad or whatever. You haven't seen anybody else sign him off the practice squad. So that seemed like an unnecessary bonus, but that's not my money. So he can ask, Josh Harris can ask him about that. Marcus going for the Dodgers. I grew up kind of like a Dodgers fan. When the Senators left here after 71, I was turning 12, and I needed a new ball team. So I watched the Orioles and I watched the Dodgers because they never played each other. So you could enjoy both. One of the two was the Saturday day game. Back then you got to see a game on Saturday afternoon and some local Orioles games, but you didn't see a lot of games. Dodgers were on a lot of the Saturday afternoon games, them, the Reds, things like that. Let's see, Slam and Jammin's here. Okay. Last night's Hail Mary, the greatest regular season win in franchise history. Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, if we're talking regular season wins, you have to think about the very end of the season wins to get you in the playoffs. I think that. Now, mid-season game, no, it's up there. I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you about a lot of games before the 1960s. Might have had some good ones, but let's just say it was a damn good win. Okay, we'll put it there. It was a good win, and Jaden Daniels very much could be the MVP of the league by the time this is done. Gregory, I know Allen had an injury, but I think we should bring him back. Isn't he a pending free agent? No, he's not a pending free agent. I think they have 2 more years on it. And we'll just see. I wouldn't be surprised if Allen is elsewhere next season. Tonight's Monday night game is the next 2 Washington opponents. Oh, there you go. Because it's the Giants playing who? I forget. Pittsburgh, right? Yeah, so I think Pittsburgh will beat them. I don't know. That game's just kicked off too, right? A little bit ago. What is my comp for Jaden Daniels? Asked Mojo. I don't know. It's kind of one of a kind, isn't he? I mean, there's been guys like this before. Is he a Michael Vick? Which, was a pretty good quarterback. That dog thing aside, it kind of messed up his career, the dog fighting thing. So maybe I'd have to think about that. These are too big of questions for my little head. I don't know. I'm too busy worrying. Today I did 2 podcasts. This show, wrote a column for Odyssey.com. I wrote a column for a magazine. And I did a couple more 2-minute videos. That's what I've been doing all day. I haven't had time to think about anything. What's for lunch? That's about it. That's why I say, here I go. I'm begging for money. If you see the $ below me on YouTube, hey, I do appreciate people, chipping in, because I do this show at the end of basically a 36-hour run of covering ball, sleep a few hours in the middle. The rest of it's all about, playing, doing the ball. So I do appreciate it when people show me, hey, Rick, thanks for that. Here's $5. I take whatever, We'll be doing a food drive in a couple of weeks. And last year we donated a lot of money to food banks and then for Christmas toys for kids. So we're going to do that again. But in the meantime, I'll take your money and go spend it. So I do appreciate anybody who chips in, which is say you look favorably. I don't do commercials. I don't put this behind a paywall. I'd rather just do this straight with each other. So if you can, I would appreciate you chipping in. Okay, what do I think of Tony Bennett retiring? That did shock me, Joel. Especially the timing of it. I mean, they're only like 3 weeks from the season. That seems a little, I don't know. I would have told the coach to finish it. Turgeon did that in Maryland a few years ago. I'm not a big one on that. Alan, you're right. That playoff game with the seat cushions. Yeah, it was a seat cushion game when they beat Atlanta in the playoffs. Because Atlanta had been talking a lot of crap, including Jerry Glanville, took the whole team dressed in fatigues to the Iwo Jima Memorial, the Marine Memorial. And they were talking all this stuff. And Washington just smacked them around big time. And if they scored at the end of the game, and it's like everybody grabbed that seat cushion and threw it down there like F you, Jerry. And it was one of those rare moments you just remember on that. So people still talk about that all the time. Todd, thank you so much. See, $4. I'm okay with that. Whatever it is, it shows nothing else. It shows respect for my time. So, and if you don't respect my time, at least hit the thumbs up button. That way, the algorithm thinks you care. And so I do appreciate it that way. But like I said, nobody pays me to do this show. I don't do commercials. I do hawk my own stuff now and then. But if you would like a copy, hey, presidential elections next week. And here's my book, Presidential Pours, Commanders and Cocktails, what you like to drink, what they like to drink. I have every president in here. I guess I'll have to update it if something changes. And it's $15 shipping and signed and all that. So if you go to monumentalthoughts.com, you can get this. It shows you how to do PayPal and Venmo. Just buy it. Or you can buy it off Amazon if you really want, but I can't sign it. So I've been doing this. I do tours. I take people around. I'm a tour guide in DC. In case some of you are new, a lot of you come on Saturdays. We go on tour for the Sunday home game. So presidential sports fund. Well, who's going to win the election next week? Hell if I know. If I knew that, I'd take all my money, go to Vegas, bet on the winner. Let's see. And I don't want to talk politics on the show because nobody in America is changing their mind, which makes me say, why are we still running all these commercials? Nobody's changing their mind in the last minute. Like, oh, I get it now. I don't think so. In Maryland, we got a hot Senate race too. So that's all it's on. I don't know how TV survives. We don't have anything else going on. How many games do we need to at least host a playoff game, Gregory? Well, if they win a division, whatever that takes, maybe you only need 11 wins to win the division this year. If they beat Philly twice, they would have a tiebreaker on them too. So maybe only 11. If you're a wild card team, you probably need 11 to host a wild card game too, the way it's going now. So could they do that? Sure. Let's see, Eric. Miracles last night. Yeah, I agree there. It's the miracle of Landover. And you're only 52. You're a punk kid. So that's what when you get older, you can call everybody else punk kid. Let's see. Mojo, in 1991, when did you start thinking this team was going all the way? Well, they were 14-2. So, and I think they lost the last game. They lost 2 games by like a point. One in the middle of the season. I think they were 11-0 when they lost. So I think everybody knew early this was going to be a great team. The funny part about that team is how quickly it aged afterwards in 92, 93. Man, it was all gone. It's sort of like the Nationals, except they were still in their prime when they got let go or whatever, or traded. You know, whenever I watch Juan Soto, I sit there and go, God, I wish Juan Soto was here. Now Judge is up. Judge is hitting 150 in the series. He looks lost in space. They throw him at low stuff, and he just can't figure it out. It's kind of weird how it happens. Hickory Hound, Presidential Sports, is a good stocking stuffer. It even fits in it. So that's a good one. George Allen and Richard Nixon were friends. Yeah, Mojo, Nixon drew up his play. He asked Allen to use it. Okay, I have heard from several key people on this play over the years that were instrumental in this play, and everybody points to somebody else's fault. But the play lost like 9 yards and knocked them out of field goal range, and they lost a close game by a couple points. So thanks, Tricky Dick. Just more, Moody, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Suzanne, you too. Ooh, like the Fox. And Alan. Man, what 3 people in a row. Whoa, love that. That means I got $20 in my pocket. Woo, we're ready for good times now. I can eat it. Taco Bell. Whatever. I grew up kind of poor and I became a cheap person in my whole life. So I hold on to my money. It's the only way I've survived all this. I've been laid off 8 times in 11 years, believe it or not. I keep changing jobs. COVID really hurt things in my business. Newspaper people in this country are screwed. Just screwed. Sports writers in this country are screwed. You got about 5 more years of existing people like me around, and then you're going to be left with the kids that don't know crap, and good luck reading them. But whatever. Todd, Richard Nixon was a diehard Giants fan. Well, I know Nixon really liked George Allen because they both came from the same area in California, and they knew each other when George was coaching out in California with the Rams. Was it the Rams? I think so. They were always good friends on that. I like Tricky Dick. I was a kid when he was president, but he did a lot of good things till he had that meltdown. And what did Nixon teach us most of all? It's always the lie that brings people down. It's not the deed, it's the lie and the cover up. Because people like me go looking for it and we figure it out, and then we bust your balls and you got to leave. It's how we do things. And we're here as guardians for the public to try and, keep misdoers from getting away with things. I know somehow that's fallen out of favor, but what else would you want us to do? Encourage them? So kind of weird. All right. Chat box seems to slow down for some reason. I guess people actually gave me money and they were like, can't we do this? Hickory. In 91, they lost to Philadelphia in week 16. Yeah, I remember they pulled the people. I think, but they lost the game around week 11. I'd have to look it up, and I can't do that and talk to you at the same time. So, Somebody else look it up for me. That 91 season. They lost by, I think it was Green Bay. They lost to like a point, maybe on a Monday night. I don't know why I can remember that on there. How old were you during Watergate? I was, well, I think Watergate was there a couple of years, but I was 14 when Nixon resigned. 14, and then I was a newspaper man 4 years later. I started at 18. And Woodward and Bernstein were a big influence on guys like me. And, we all wanted to go out there and, break the news stories. And I did for most of my career until I got old and became a columnist, and you don't really break anything now. But yeah, that was a big influence on my generation. And there's a place in Arlington. It's not going to be there forever. It's a parking garage where Deep Throat used to meet Woodward late at night, like 2 a.m. And I used to do some of that stuff too, just to find out things. It's kind of weird, but there's a plaque there that says, "This is the spot where they met." And you can go in there free, just wander into the parking garage and see it. If you want to go on one of my tours, I can take you over there. Do I think Washington wins at New York on Sunday, Gregory? Yeah, absolutely. They should. If they don't, they blow it there. They lost to Dallas. Okay. That's what it was. Okay, Mike, remember Monday Night Football when Santana caught 2 bombs? Yeah, the daggers, man. 14 points in the last a couple minutes. Yeah, I remember that one. That was a great one. That was Santana's greatest game, I think. Do we go 2-0 the next 2 weeks? My brother's a huge Steelers fan. Steelers are a good team, but they're beatable too. Listen, Baltimore lost to Cleveland. What in the world was that about? I mean, Baltimore's a good team, and Cleveland is horrible. I think Carolina's worse than Cleveland, but they're both horrible. They could be the top 2 picks next year. What is Baltimore doing losing that game? That's the NFL for you. That's why we watch. That's why betting's so hard to do, because people do it. I did have, let's see, I have Pittsburgh tonight. I'm 6-7 on the weekend, so I hope the Steelers win. Steelers are a good organization. I used to know Dan Rooney. Very nice man. He became ambassador to Ireland there at one time, but Dan Rooney would, during the joint practices with the Steelers and Redskins, Rooney would just be on the track watching, talking to the media like just Joe Blow. The guy could have been a plumber. You would have never known it. He was a good guy. I wonder if Steelers will have a lot of fans here, Jim. That's a great question, because Washington has owned the stands. It's been close a couple of times, but they've owned the stands in the 4 home games this year. But now what's happening with Pittsburgh and Philly and the Giants? Did they buy their tickets early? The Giants, I don't think will bring as many, but Pittsburgh, that's when I want to see who's sitting in those seats for that game. Hickory, the Dallas Monday night game was in 2005. Okay. You had a high def TV back in 2005. You must be a rich guy. All right. I had a black and white TV until whatever. I grew up watching black and white TV. We didn't have color. Let's see. Any idea what the sellout number is for the current stadium? Well, last night they hand out. Well, we still do everything electronically, but they still hand out a sheet of everything too. Attendance 64,704. Let's see. There it is. 64,704. Okay, I agree with that. I used to make fun of them all the time with Dan Snider, because they'd announce crowd counts that were just ridiculous. There's no one there. There might be a game like 15,000 people are there, and they're going 61,000. I'm like, my butt, there's 61,000 people here. And they go, oh, it's tickets sold. Well, that's not the same word as attendance. Attendance is those attending. Tickets sold, you want to say that number? Say that number. But attendance, and trust me, they weren't the only people. Every PR man and every sport inflates crowd counts. They always do. So that was a good crowd last night. I think that's the season high. They had a 63 earlier and a 61. I remember that. Alan, yeah, Santana was the cowboy killer. Any idea? Okay, I got that. Clayton Winston was saying, believe in the Lord and unwavering faith before a game against Baltimore. Okay. All right, I'm not sure what the point is, but okay, I agree with that. Brandon, was the Skins Giants game on Thanksgiving a few years ago? Yeah, it was a night game here. I don't remember how many people were there, to tell you the truth. I remember it was kind of cold. I remember I had to have early Thanksgiving dinner again and miss, out on the holiday because usually it's a Dallas game. Now we had to have one here at night. Ugh. Alan, how often do I do tours? Whenever people wave money at me. I don't do many public tours. I offered a few this fall and hardly anybody came, even though I discounted it deeply. I don't know where you guys were. But if you want to come to town, go to monumentalthoughts@gmail.com. That's my email for the tour company. Don't send me Redskin questions. But you can let me know when you're in town. We can talk about it. I'm pretty flexible. I don't want to go outside in January so much, but I do when I'm really crazy. I had to turn down one the other day from a tour company saying we'd like to do inaugural day tour. No, I'm not going near Capitol Hill on inaugural day this year. No, but if you want to go any other time, I go walking tours. We go around town. You can see anything you want. So I've been a tour guide 15 years because I looked ahead and said newspapers are in big trouble. I need to make sure I have a plan B to fall back on and make some money. Tour guiding's a good job. I get my exercise and fresh air. And I know anything around the town pretty much. Nobody knows everything. But so if you want to go on tour, go to monumentalthoughts.com is the website, and my email, monumentalthoughts@gmail.com. Mike, at one time, I think Jack Kent Cooke Stadium had the largest capacity. Yeah, it was 91,000 when they topped out, supposedly. It didn't last long, but it was Snider threw those things up for a few years, and then nobody wanted them anymore. Kevin, thank you so much. Do appreciate everything. And JD5 is the truth. I wasn't sure when they drafted him because I hadn't seen him enough, but once I saw him on the field in camps, I was like, oh, yeah. And one thing I noticed about Jaden throughout the summer even was I didn't see the ball on the ground a lot. He completes a lot of passes. He actually had more incompletions yesterday probably in any game this season. I thought it was worse than that, 21 of 38. There you go, 17 incompletes. That's a lot for him on there. 326 for yards, and he hit the one that mattered. So, if that's a bad game, take it every time. Who has a bad game and throws for 326 yards in a game-winning touchdown? Do I think Dallas coach will be here? Okay, so Greg wants to know will McCarthy still be the Cowboys coach when they play Washington? Probably. Jerry doesn't like to fire coaches so much in the season and owe him money. But after the season, it's up to Jerry Jones. I know Jerry Jones. I've talked to him a number of times. And it's if I had to sit in front of Jerry, I'd say, listen, if we want to be honest with each other, you have two choices. You can continue to make this team your play toy and never really have the success that you really want. Or you can let some people like Adam Peters take over your team and stand back and enjoy it and watch them maybe win a Super Bowl. That's your choices. Well, I think Jerry's going to say, well, I'm having fun now. I got 3 rings already. All right, well, that's how it goes. That's your choice. That was Dan Snyder's choice. He'd rather screw around the team than contend. He couldn't do both, and he didn't want to do what he had to contend. I think 25 years ownership proved that. Antoinette, looks like plenty of Bears fans at the stadium. There was a good bit. I was just trying earlier to talk about it. I was thinking maybe 15,000. Well, 15% of 64,000 would be about 10,000 fans. That might be about it. I didn't think there were that many, but there were a lot of fans there. Eagles fans there. I was taking pictures of them on the concourse. I put them up on my Twitter feed, Rick Snider's Washington. I saw Eagles fans, Detroit fans, Dallas fans. There was a Minnesota Vikings fan with a sign that said "Bears suck." So it always amazes me all the visiting fans that don't have a team there that day that come. But maybe they just want to come enjoy a game. But do you have to wear your other jersey? That just seems dumb. Wear a coat. Bob, did I notice the huge American flags were placed in the upper deck? No, I didn't see that part. Couldn't see him. So that's interesting. I hadn't seen him from because I'm inside the stadium like you. Mike, trainers were wrapping Jaden like a mummy. Okay. He's a tough guy. I'll give him credit. Anybody can play that game like that. It's not. It's a rough sport by big men. I got about 15 minutes to go. Any updates on the new stadium site, Alan? No, I mean they're waiting on the Senate to approve a bill. Senate's out until after the election, which now is only just a couple more weeks. They're around for about 3 weeks or so, late November, December. I don't know if there's a funding bill or something that has to dominate the time, but I don't think they're going to do anything. I think they're going to kick it to the next Congress, which starts over for a bill in January. They'd have to start through the House again. And then who knows what the elections are going to do next week? Or is the House or Senate going to change hands? That kind of thing could change the bill too. What I think is Harris will give them one more year to try and get the RFK site, and if they can't, then he's moving. He's going to be in Maryland. The other interesting thing that happened this past weekend was Vincent Gray, who's really the dominant force on the city council, has dementia, and he only has 2 months left in his term. He's got onset problems coming on, and he said, "I'm no longer voting on bills," because he just doesn't have the mental clarity. He was a big Commanders fan. He would have helped push it through because as much as we talk about getting the site, you still got to get the money through the city council. And the days of having 3, 4 sports people on there are gone. Now these people, they'd rather put the money to public use. What kind of craziness is this? But so it's not going to be easy to do that either. I mean, the mayor can say what she wants. City council controls the money. So I don't know. I think this thing is looking like it's in Landover. All right, Logan, a CB is badly needed. Yeah, I agree. I think that's the first round pick if they can make it so next year, or a big free agency signing. We'll see. Marcus, Jaden's very humble. True, really good kid. I like Jaden a lot. Forbes is a good guy too. He's just not playing well. But it doesn't make people bad people if they're bad players. I do try to explain that to people. I've known plenty of really great guys that just weren't good enough to really be in the NFL, and everybody hated them and said stuff. And it's not true. You can be a nice person, uh, despite playing badly. So let's try not to judge people so much. Bob, 2-0 Dodgers. Yeah, I got the game on here. So. That was just, man, it's amazing how fast these guys pitch anymore. Let's see. Hickory, not about politics, but on the Rogan podcast, Trump talked about revitalizing D.C. I was thinking, boom, that means RFK. I don't know if I really believe all that or not. Which say last election, 94% voted against Trump because it's a heavy Democratic city. And he didn't exactly do the city any favors his 4 years. I don't know that I would say that. But we'll see what happens. Bryce, potentially next legit loss given how we're doing. Pittsburgh would be a legit loss. That's a good team. Philly's a good team. They're starting to come on finally. They were a little slow, but there. Let's see. That's why I keep everything on my clipboard. I don't know if you ever seen me. I'm like the only reporter who carries a clipboard around. I've done this since I was 18. I keep my notes. Plus, when you carry a clipboard and walk in places, people think you must be an official or something, and they leave you alone. I've gotten by many a guard using a clipboard. Or I was in some rough areas at times, and I had the clipboard, and they thought I was a cop or something, or a city worker. So they would leave me alone. So clipboards get you access. Atlanta on a good day is a good one, looking at the list. Was after the Giants, they got Pittsburgh. So that's a tough game. At Philly is going to be a tough game. Dallas should be able to win that if you want to accomplish your goals. Tennessee should win that. At New Orleans should win that. Philly, okay, so I think they might split with Philly, so they'll win one of the two. Atlanta, depends on, they probably might have something to play for. There's Kirk, there. That's an interesting game. And then at Dallas, they probably win that last one, because I don't think Dallas will have any playoff implications. So I think, like I said, I think they can have around 12 wins or so if it goes right. Gregory, need another wide receiver in his corner. Yeah, absolutely. At the trading deadline, no. I think they maybe they make one trade, but nobody just makes big moves like that all the time. Let's see. Bryce, how many more get flexed? Well, that's a good question. Okay, I hope none at the home games because I like 1 o'clock games. Let's see. Looking ahead, you got to do it 2 weeks ahead. So it wouldn't be by tomorrow if they want to flex the Pittsburgh game. They got to do it by tomorrow. But that's one's. I don't know. That'll be interesting to see. At Philly is a Thursday night game, so that's there. The Dallas one, that's a possibility, but I don't think so. Tennessee, no. New Orleans, no. The other Philly game, maybe. And then it's to be determined on the Atlanta and Dallas games. They don't have times yet for the last two. So there's one or two, maybe could do it. Casey, you gotta get greedy, man. After a loss, then you think they suck, but you gotta be greedy after wins. Over the years, I gotta tell you another funny story that happened yesterday. I do grades after games. Most of you have probably seen them on Twitter and my YouTube page. I do the positional grades after the game, flash grades. I do the best I can. I've been doing them for 30 years, but I can't say they're perfect because they're quick off the heels kind of thing. Usually the last 2 weeks, over 100,000 people each week looked at the grades. Yesterday, 7,000 people. I think you guys must have celebrated and passed out and you never came back to look at the grades. 7,000 people instead of 100,000 people after that kind of loss. I mean, I do get paid on clicks for Twitter too. So I just had to laugh at that point about, what the hell happened there? What in the world changed it from 100,000 to 7,000? I think now it's over 10, but few people looked at it today. It was just really weird. Who was my favorite GM to deal with, Alan? With Charlie Casserly. I like Charlie a lot. He didn't tell you much, but he was a good guy. And occasionally he teaches something about the business, which I appreciate. One time, I'll give you a quick Charlie story. I used to take red eyes back to Dulles Airport, which is 5-10 minutes from Redskin Park. But I live on the other side of town. So I would have had to basically fight rush hour to go home from a 6 a.m. landing, get maybe an hour or two, and then come back. And that's too much driving. So what I would do is put my pillow and a blanket in there, and I would just put the seat back, and I'd park in the Redskin Park parking lot. Back then I could. And it was safe and all. And I would just put the seat back, and I'd sleep for 2-3 hours, and then we'd work all damn day. One day, Charlie sees me doing this and bangs on my glass, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "We work 24/7, baby." I didn't have the heart to tell him it was just easier. He thought that was the greatest. He treated me with even better after that, knowing because he respected hard workers. And I used to work 80-hour weeks as a beat guy. So I used to do crazy stuff like that. But Charlie's a good guy. He's retired, living in Florida now. Just Moody, just give us a night game with Atlanta. Kirk will blow it. Yeah. Well, he did win one recently at night, didn't he? It was one. He did have big stats. Luke, do I think they can beat Tennessee? Absolutely. Better be Tennessee. If you want to accomplish your goals, you can't let down against bad teams. It's going to lose one once in a while, but you try not to do such a thing. KJ. Ooh, KJ's back. You think of Newton do the great remainder of the season? Well, they trade Allen like they did at Rockbo. I think if Allen requests one, they'll probably trade him. And I would say right now 50-50, but hey, suppose they go on in playoffs and things are looking great. Allen might want to stay for it. I don't know. Forbes is the one I think will fall off the roster next. Where's Florida? Matthew, what's that thing with that storm cut in half down south where it's muggy as all? Antoinette, is Commanders Dallas 4 o'clock? No. It is 1 here. And, well, the first Dallas game is at 1 o'clock. The second one is the TBD. So we don't know. Matthew, Charlie lives where? Down in Florida. Still has his DC number, so I didn't even know about it for a while. Mike, thank you so much for that. You can try that. Try to get by security. The biggest thing I use to get past a lot of people is act like you know where you're going. Don't look around. Don't wonder where you're going. Don't look for permission. Just go. And if somebody stops you, just stop you. I'm not saying to bust guards, okay? I'm not saying to commit a crime. But sometimes I have to get around. I don't know what town, Matthew. I'm not sure. I think he told me and I forgot. Um, but anyway, yeah, I use the clipboard. You look like where you're going. A lot of times I have to use. I'm on the street. I need to use the restroom, like in a restaurant, which I'm not eating in. So here's how it works. I go through the lobby. I sit here and go, "Where are you? You're in the back. Okay, I'm coming your way." They figure I'm just gonna go, meet somebody, and I get to go use the restroom. Pro tip on that: hey, when you work on the street, you do what you got to do on that. So, but don't break any laws. Don't tell cops I told you that. Some magazine here in DC, a big one, said, "Hey, we're doing a piece about public bathrooms. What's the best ones?" And we figured you'd know. And I said, "Yes, I do know, but I'm sure as hell not going to tell your people so that they go use them, and then suddenly the place wises up and I can't use it." So tough. I spent years learning this. I used to have bathroom codes for dozens of places downtown. Kept it in my wallet. Gotta go, you gotta go. Your old man on the street. So there aren't a lot of public restrooms around, but you have to know where they are. And in any public building, you can use the restroom. So you have to go through metal detectors, whatever. But I always tell people in DC too, the Smithsonian's are good for that stuff like that. Jim snuck into RFK for a Skins game. Well, very good. Naughty, but okay. I read yesterday, I did a video about 35% of NFL fans stream the games illegally. You bunch of hackers. So that's why I'm here for you for free. No sense breaking in. Who do you got winning the bid war for the new stadium, KJ's? Maryland. I think Maryland in the end. I think DC can't deliver it in the end. Alan, any Sonny Jurgensen stories you can tell? I heard he used to tell Dolphins players they would have been undefeated if he played. Well, Lombardi, when he coached in Washington the 1 year before he passed, he often said if he had Jurgensen in Green Bay, they would have won the title every year. They won a lot anyway, but he loved Sonny. And they laugh. He got Sonny into shape first time ever. Saw Sonny end of last season. He's 90 now, I think. Looks great. I thought he looked great. Mike like Charlie. Charlie was a good guy. Gregory, have you booked your Super Bowl hotel? It's in New Orleans. I've covered a Super Bowl in New Orleans. I don't remember who it was, but around 2000 or so. And it was a lot of fun because New Orleans is kind of a very walkable city. The hotel is next to the dome, but it's a city you can get around pretty well in, either by walking or cable car or whatever. It's not a big place. And New Orleans has a rule that you can drink publicly and do whatever you want. The only rule is no fighting. You start fighting in the streets, they get mad about that. But other than that, people are just drunk beyond belief in New Orleans. But it's a cool city, and I was there a number of times covering games or stuff for Super Bowls. And then I took my wife with me one time just to go on vacation, and I saw all the rest of New Orleans, a garden district down the water. I took her to Bourbon Street at 5 o'clock for like 10 minutes, and she was like, "Bleh." Well, she's not a drinker, and neither am I too much. But New Orleans is a lot of fun. Just don't go in the summer because it's blazing hot. And humidity, man, it makes Washington seem dry compared to New Orleans. No, I was in Las Vegas recently and no humidity, which means it's 95 degrees there and it wasn't hot. Not to me. Did you notice Jaden wearing like the cap and everything, the warm gear, the hoodie kind of thing yesterday because he was cold and I thought he's cold. It's like 65 degrees. It gets colder here, Jaden. Better get yourself some good weather gear. I just thought it was funny. He's from a warm weather area. So, okay, because, it does get colder. I don't do cigars, Mike. Don't smoke at all. So, killed my father at a young age. I have no desire. Do we think it could be a Super Bowl contender, Greg? I think they can get to the Final Four of the NFC. And I don't know past that. But I think they can get to there. So that means they win a playoff game. I think they can do that. Kevin, do I think Kingsbury would take a head coaching job next year? I think Cliff likes being a coordinator. It's a lot less pressure, a lot less media, a lot of things. Yeah, it's a lot less money, but he's already got money. Arizona's still paying him big money. So I don't know that he would be so quick to just jump at an offer just because there's an offer. Dubs, yeah, he's right. Jaden's a Cali kid. So, hey, I'd love to live somewhere where it's beautiful all year too. Washington's nice. This time of year, it's been a great fall here in DC. Hasn't rained practically at all, but it's been beautiful here. I mean, here we are at the end of October. It's going to be 80 on Halloween. So don't tell me there's no global warming influence. It doesn't snow here last few years. It's been really weird. Alan, favorite stadium to visit? That's a good question because to me, it's almost like favorite city to visit. San Francisco, I love. I haven't been there since they moved down the road on that. I liked LA, but I haven't been to their new stadium. Let's see. What else we have? I liked New England. That was kind of cool. Let's see. Green Bay was cool. It's just freezing. When you go into late in season, it's cold. So Chicago is really cool too. The freezing also, with a cool stadium for that. I liked Arizona just because I like the town. It's a great place. So there's not too many places I really didn't want to go. Jacksonville, Atlanta, although the great part of Atlanta is you can catch the subway right at the airport, luggage, and go right downtown. That was nice. Okay, so I'm already over the limit, so I'm going to wrap up in a minute. So never give up says Kirk Cousins was the last outstanding quarterback they had. True. He had 3 straight 4,000-yard years. I mean, you can't beat that. Why am I watching Freddie Freeman score again? If that's Freddie. There we go. 3-0 Dodgers. Man, they're going to take the heart out of the Yankees here. Man, can you imagine if they sweep them? Oh, Freddie's at bat. Okay, I don't know who that was. Just scored. Just trying to look at it. Let's see. Each of the first 3 games, home run. Freddie Freeman and Barry Bonds, whatever. On there. Yeah, I love Freddie Freeman. The dude can hit. And he took a pitch for once. Okay. Favorite Skins uniform combo. Don't care. But I do like the helmet, mustard helmet with the spear on it. I like that. And the feather. That was pretty cool. This black uniform, bleh. I'm not a big uniform guy, really. I don't care. It looks good winning. All right, Hickory Hound, you're right. It's time for us to go. So thank you all so much. I appreciate it. If you're watching on replay, or if you're watching on replay, well, thanks. If you're watching live, you came in late, you want to see more, this will go to replay in just a minute. You can see the beginning if you like. If you'd like to donate money, that $sign's there. You can do it on replay if you like. Videos are 6 in the morning and dinner time. Seasons of Discontent is up. We did it a day early, so it's up right now. If you want to go hear another 20 minutes of my buddy Matt and I talking about it, it's on YouTube. You can go see that. Our next stadium will be domed, I think, Gregory. Never give up. Thank you so much. John, anyone here from John Allen after the club? No, have not, Charlie. So yeah, anyway, I appreciate everybody coming. It's amazing how many of you do. And I'm glad we got to spend this time together, as Carol Burnett used to sing. If you don't know who that is, you're not old. Anyway, I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'll see you again soon, including next Monday.